there is hybridization involving one s orbital and one p orbital, and we get two equivalent sp hybrid orbitals, and these are directed, oriented along a straight line at an angle of 180 degrees. So the geometry will be linear, diagonal or linear. The molecules with sp hybridization will be linear molecules, and the bond angle will be 180 degrees. That we are seeing in the case of ethane molecule or acetylene molecule. Say in the ethane molecule or acetylene molecule, both the carbon atoms have sp hybridization, and the bonding is like this. Carbon atom, there is a triple bond between the two carbon atoms, and here hydrogen and hydrogen. Say about the triple bond, the three bonds are not identical. Only one is sigma bond and the others are pi bonds. Pi bonds are formed by the sidewise overlapping of the unhybridized p orbitals. Now you measure the bond angle, hydrogen, carbon, carbon bond angle, say this one. And it is found to be 180 degrees. Here also the bond angle that is equal to 180 degrees. And the acetylene molecule is a linear molecule due to sp hybridization of the carbon atoms. And the bond angle is 180 degrees. That is also due to sp hybridization of carbon atoms. We can have beryllium chloride BeCl2 and BeF2 beryllium fluoride. In these two compounds, beryllium has sp hybridization. Say beryllium, and here there is chlorine, here also chlorine. And here beryllium, fluorine, here also fluorine. So beryllium has sp hybridization. sp, here also sp. So beryllium chloride is a linear molecule. Similarly, beryllium fluoride is also a linear molecule. All the atoms are lying along a line. The nuclei of all the atoms lie along a line, and the bond angle will be 180 degrees. Similarly, here also in beryllium fluoride also the bond angle is 180 degrees, and all these are due to the sp hybridization of the beryllium atom. Okay, so that's all about the hybridization. Now let us go to another point, that is molecular orbital theory. Molecular orbital theory. Orbital theory. MOT, molecular orbital theory. This is another approach for the formation of a molecule. We have seen the valence bond approach during the formation of a molecule. We have seen just now. In the valence bond approach, valence bond theory, there is hybridization of atoms, and there will be overlapping of the orbitals also. Now you come to another approach during the formation of molecules, and it is called molecular orbital theory, or MOT, another development to explain the formation of molecules. According to MOT, molecular orbital theory, in molecules, electrons are present in molecular orbitals. Electrons are present in molecular orbitals. That means in molecules there are no atoms. See the difference in the approach. In the valence bond theory, there are separate atoms. There is existence of atoms, although there is overlap of orbitals. But here, there are no atoms. Here we have a collection of nuclei, a number of nuclei, a collection of nuclei. And these nuclei are covered by molecular orbitals, MO, molecular orbitals, MOs, molecular orbitals. And these are polycentric. Molecular orbitals are polycentric. What is meant by polycentric orbital? You take the case of, say, an atomic orbital, say for example, S orbital like this, and here there is the nucleus. There is the nucleus. The atomic orbital, S orbital for example, and there is the nucleus. So for this orbital, there is only one center. There is only one center, the nucleus. So it is monocentric. The orbital is monocentric. But you take the case of a hydrogen molecule, according to MOT, it's a polycentric orbital. Here we have the nuclei of hydrogen atoms, nuclei of the hydrogen atoms, and these hydrogen atoms are covered by the so-called molecular orbitals. So, in molecules, electrons are present in molecular orbitals, MOs, they are polycentric orbitals. This is just like, say, what we say, Sugian model. In Sugian we have, say, the green piece, and it is covered by maida commonly. So in the place of, say, the piece, the green piece, there will be the nuclei. And the nuclei are covered by a common orbital. The common orbital is called the molecular orbital. So, according to molecular orbital theory, in molecules, there are no individual atoms. There are no individual atomic orbitals. But electrons are present in polycentric molecular orbitals. And how are these molecular orbitals formed? The molecular orbitals are formed by linear combination of atomic orbitals, linear combination of atomic orbitals, LCAO, linear combination of atomic orbitals, LCAO, linear combination of atomic orbitals. And what is meant by linear combination? Suppose we have two atoms, and the two atoms are having their own orbitals. The orbitals may be considered as solutions of wave functions. You need not go deep into that. The orbitals are the solutions of wave functions. You just remember like that. And if we have two atoms with a wave function or simply orbital that is equal to psi1, that is psi, psi, psi1, one orbital, and psi2, another orbital. Psi1 is of, say, atom number 1, orbital of atom number 1. Psi2, that is orbital of atom number 2. Now, during linear combination, what happens? LCAO, linear combination of atomic orbitals. The linear combination is like this. That is psi1 plus psi2. Psi1 plus psi2. Or psi1 minus psi2. And that is called the linear combination. So, psi molecular orbital is equal to either psi1 plus psi2 or psi1 minus psi2. Psi1 and psi2 represent two separate orbitals. Two separate orbitals of different atoms. And here, the atomic orbitals mix. Atomic orbitals of different atoms. Orbitals of different atoms mix, forming molecular orbitals. Molecular orbitals are formed by, we have seen, they are formed by linear combination of atomic orbitals of almost the same energy. If psi1 and psi2 represent two different orbitals of two different atoms, the linear combination can be either psi1 plus psi2 or psi1 minus psi2. Then we get two different molecular orbitals. So, when two atomic orbitals are mixed or combined, two atomic orbitals are combined, we get two molecular orbitals. Two atomic orbitals will combine, mix up to form two molecular orbitals. One is called bonding molecular orbital. One is called bonding molecular orbital. And the other is called anti-bonding molecular orbital. Bonding molecular orbital, and the other is called anti-bonding molecular orbital. Bonding molecular orbital is formed by the addition of two atomic orbitals, while anti-bonding molecular orbital is formed by the subtraction of two different atomic orbitals or two different wave functions. So psi1 plus psi2, that gives you bonding molecular orbital, while psi1 minus psi2 gives you anti-bonding molecular orbital. Now let us see the energies of the bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital. You can see that energy of bonding molecular orbital is less than the anti-bonding molecular orbital. So, the bonding molecular orbital has lower energy, while anti-bonding molecular orbital has higher energy. So, when we say give electrons, when we write the electronic configuration, first the electrons will be going to the bonding molecular orbital. You know, the Bohr principle, building up principle. The atoms are going first to the lower atomic orbital. Similarly here also, the electrons will be entering the orbital with the lower energy, that is bonding molecular orbital. If it is filled with the two electrons, in an orbital there will be maximum two electrons only. If the bonding molecular orbital is filled with the two electrons, then if there is another electron, it goes to the higher level, that is anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay, let us take say an example. Take an example to illustrate this. Say, we have two atoms A and B. Two atoms A and B. And these are atoms of the same type or different types. For example, H2 molecule, H. Or it can be HCl, different. So A and B may be the same type of atoms or different atoms. But during the formation of the molecular orbital, orbitals of comparable energy, more or less same energy, they will be combining together to form molecular orbitals. And half of the number of the molecular orbitals formed will be bonding molecular orbitals, and half the number will be anti-bonding molecular orbitals. Do you see some similarity with the hybridization? Similarity with the hybridization? But hybridization is the mixing of orbitals of the same atom. Same atom. But here, molecular orbital is a result of the mixing of orbitals of different atoms. Different atoms. When two atomic orbitals mix, we'll get two molecular orbitals. One is bonding molecular orbital and the other is anti-bonding. Suppose we have four atomic orbitals, two each from two atoms. So four molecular orbitals are mixing to form molecular orbitals. Then the total number of molecular orbitals formed will be 2 plus 2, that is equal to 4 itself. So the number of atomic orbitals used for the formation of molecular orbitals will be the same as the number of orbitals used for mixing purpose. As in the case of hybridization, the main difference is this. In the hybridization, the orbitals of the same atom mix up to give the same number of orbitals. Not only that, the new hybrid orbitals are having same energy, same size, and the same shape. All are equivalent. But here there is a difference. In the molecular orbital theory, there is mixing of orbitals of two different atoms. And the same number of molecular orbitals will be formed. If two atomic orbitals are mixed, we will get two MOs. And half the number bonding molecular MO and half the number anti-bonding molecular MO. So two orbitals mix, one is bonding MO and the other is anti-bonding MO. When four orbitals mix, we will get four molecular orbitals. And two will be bonding and two will be anti-bonding. The number will be the same. Another difference is that in the molecular orbitals are polycentric. These orbitals are common for all the combining nuclei. That's why I told you in the beginning, in the molecules, there are only a number of nuclei. And these nuclei are covered by the so-called molecular orbitals. That's why we say molecular orbitals are polycentric orbitals. Okay. Now, come back to A and B. Suppose in A, there is a 1s orbital and B, there is 1s orbital. So these are of a comparable energy. And these two combine. So 1s of A and 1s of B, two atomic orbitals mix up. Then we'll get two molecular orbitals. One is called the bonding and the other is called anti-bonding. Then the molecular orbital formed by the mixing of 1s orbitals, they are called sigma molecular orbital, sigma, and sigma is the bonding molecular orbital. It is having lower energy. And the other is called a sigma star. That is a sigma star, and it is an anti-bonding molecular orbital. Sigma is having, that is of 1s. So you can call it as sigma 1s. And this is a sigma star 1s. Sigma 1s and a sigma star 1s. Sigma, that is a bonding molecular orbital with a lower energy, while sigma star, so all the anti-bonding orbitals are shown by star mark. There will be a star mark. And here, the molecular orbitals are named as sigma, pi, delta, etc. Sigma, pi, delta, etc. And here, oneness and oneness of two atoms. Linear combination will give you two molecular orbitals. Here there is the formation of MOs. Two MOs are formed. And one is bonding MO, the other is anti-bonding MO. And the bonding MO is called the sigma oneness, and the anti-bonding is called the sigma star oneness. Similarly, you take say 2s and 2s of two atoms. 2s and 2s of two atoms, two different atoms. Here also we make use of two atoms, two atomic orbitals for mixing up. So we'll get two molecular orbitals. One is bonding, other is anti-bonding, and say it is called the sigma 2s bonding and sigma star 2s, that is anti-bonding. Now you come to the 2p level. Suppose we have the orbitals, say like this, 2pz, and here 2pz, 2px, 2py, and 2pz. Suppose we have 2pz from two atoms. Then we'll get two molecular orbitals. And these are called sigma 2pz and sigma star 2pz. The star is a anti-bonding molecular orbital and it is having higher energy. If the 2pz and 2pz, they form the sigma bond, sigma molecular orbitals. The remaining p orbitals, that is px and py on both, they will be forming pi molecular orbitals, pi. So here, suppose we have 2p, 2py, and here 2py, and they will form pi orbitals. So pi, 2py, and pi star 2py, pi star 2py. So what will happen to px? Say px, 2px. Here also 2px. So these are the comparable energy orbitals of comparable energy. Then we'll get say 2p, it is pi 2p, here this is 2p, 2px and pi star 2px, So in general we can say when two atomic orbitals combine or they undergo linear combination to form molecular orbitals, we get two molecular orbitals. One is bonding MO and there is anti-bonding MO. Bonding is having lower energy while anti-bonding is having higher energy. For example, oneness of one atom, oneness of other atom. Then we'll get two molecular orbitals. They are known as sigma oneness and a sigma star oneness. Then 2s of one atom and 2s of another atom. Then we get sigma 2s and a sigma star 2s. Then 2pz of two atoms. Then you get sigma 2pz, sigma star 2pz. If 2pz orbitals mix up to form sigma molecular orbitals, then the py and px, they will give us pi molecular orbitals. Pi, the different approach, different theory. It's a different view. Don't be confused. Okay. So the py, they will give pi molecular orbitals. Similarly, px and px, they will form pi molecular orbitals. Maybe pi 2py and pi star 2py. Similarly, pi 2px, pi star 2px, like this. So, when atomic orbitals are undergoing linear combination to form molecular orbitals, the total number of molecular orbitals formed will be the sum of the atomic orbitals utilized for linear combination. Half the number will be bonding molecular orbitals and half the number will be antibonding molecular orbitals. The bonding molecular orbitals will be having lower energy, while the antibonding molecular orbitals are having higher energy. And during the building up of the electronic configuration of molecules, not atoms, building up of the electronic configuration of molecules, we have to follow the Obo principle. Similarly, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, Pauli's exclusion principle, all these laws concerned with the atoms are applicable in the case of the molecular orbitals also. So, during the building up of a molecule, when we write the electronic configuration of a molecule, first electrons enter the molecular orbit of the lowest energy, and it is sigma 1s. Then maximum capacity of an orbital is equal to 2. If 2 electrons are coming to the sigma 1s, the third electron, it moves to sigma star. Fourth electron, sigma star 1s. Then fifth electron, next higher energy. So we must know the order of the energies of the molecular orbitals. The order of energies of molecular orbitals. You think, say, some simple cases, the order is like this: sigma 1s, energy, less than sigma star 1s, less than sigma 2s, less than sigma star 2s, less than sigma 2p z, sigma 2p z, like this. It will go on. Let us see, some differences will be there in different molecules. At least you remember this much: sigma 1s less than sigma star 1s, less than sigma 2s, less than sigma star 2s, then less than sigma 2bz. Then it is not a sigma star, 2pz. It is not, see here, you come to this, see here. It is not sigma star. Instead, there will be either py or pi 2py or pi star 2py. See, there is difference. You can see some examples. That's why I told you, just to remember at least up to this. Up to this, there is no change in the order of the energies of the atomic orbitals. See here, sigma 1s less than sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s less than sigma 2pz. Then it is not less than sigma star 2pz. Sigma star is coming only after the pi and pi star orbitals. We have pi 2py, pi 2px, pi star 2py. See here, these orbitals. So pi 2py, pi 2px, pi star 2py, pi star 2px. Only after this, the sigma star, this one, sigma star 2bz is coming. Not immediately after sigma 2bz. But for the pi 2py, pi star 2py, pi to 2px, pi star 2px. In some molecules, there will be a change in the order of the energy. That's why I told you we have to see the order separately in different molecules. Okay. So that is the introductory part of the molecular orbitals. For example, you take the case of a H2 molecule. H2 molecule. H2 molecule. You apply MO theory to H2 molecule. Now, in H2 molecule, how many electrons will be there? Hydrogen atomic number is equal to 1. Vidur. Atomic number
Yes, sir.
atomic number of hydrogen is equal to 1. Is equal to 1. So in one hydrogen atom, there will be 1 electron. So you take H2 molecule. H2 molecule is formed by 2 hydrogen atoms. So how many electrons will be there? Vidur?
2.
2 electrons will be there. And what will be the arrangement of the electrons in H2 molecule? Let us see the arrangement. There will be 2 electrons. And the 2 electrons will be going to the lowest energy level, lowest molecular orbital. The lowest molecular orbital is sigma 1s. And there are only 2 electrons, and these 2 electrons will be in the sigma 1s orbitals. You write the configuration as sigma 1s2. Sigma 1s is the molecular orbital surrounding 2 nuclei of hydrogen atoms. And the electrons will be common for both the hydrogen atoms, the nuclei. The hydrogen atoms are covering both the hydrogen nuclei, common for both the hydrogen nuclei. So that is the configuration of a H2 molecule. Now you take a He2 molecule. He2, helium molecule. We know atomic number of helium is equal to Sania.
2.
So He2, how many electrons we can expect?
4.
4 electrons. And how are these 4 electrons arranged in He2 molecule? 4 electrons. First, sigma 1s2. 2 electrons in the sigma 1s level. Now there are 2 more electrons, and they go to the next higher level, and it is the sigma
star
1s. So it is a sigma star 1s2. All the electrons are over now. Okay. Sigma 1s2 and sigma star 1s2. Okay. So we can continue in the next class. That is better, I think. I have +2 class.